earlier this evening, I talked about how we are grateful for the same thing that gives us the most grief. It's one hell of a dilemma. A friend of mine said to me once how much she dreaded Sunday night. And she was behind the inspiration of, I felt the same way as her. She was behind the inspiration of the piece I did entitled The Sunday Night Blues. Yeah. Now, I know I should be thankful to have a J.O.B., but there's something about Sunday nights that just gets the best of me. Now, I'm fine during the day, going to church, out to dinner, and talking with friends. But when that sun goes down, that feeling just comes to an end. It's terrible, making me hate the Lord's Day. That's what she said. He who gave me a way to get my bills paid. And the stats are not good. You better take care of what you have. Unemployment is on the rise. And the cost of everything is sky high. Oh, but those clouds come Sunday night and they linger just above my head. Oh. Monday morning is standing with wings. I'm drowning from depression and dread, thinking of another week of doing the same Sunday's done. I've got about 5 hours to prepare for exactly another one. Now, I don't know why it has to be this way, the same old tired foolishness every daggone day. I fall exhausted, unaware of what I've done. I just know I have to get ready for that burning sun. I just pray to the Lord, 'cause it's only He who knows how much longer I've got to wear these moldy wet clothes. Wet clothes. Yeah. It is something what we have to do to get through this life. You remember when common sense, common courtesy, common consideration, all those things we used to call common. What happened to it? Where did that? And in the name of progress, isn't it something what we have sacrificed, unwillingly or not, in the name of progress? In the name of progress. 21st century, here we come, and here we are as the day. In the name of progress. Time to get going. Here we go. Get to step. You have to keep up with this mess. We're all in a mad rush going in unknown directions. Aren't we working more? And now we're saving less. Can't miss one step. Got to hurry up and wait. And you know, even when we start out early, don't we end up running late? The masses are in a panic. Gotta get there first. Lining up on the street the night before. Knocking each other over to claim their spot. Why? Just to be the first one in the store. Trying to beat the traffic. Gotta get up with the sun. think you go back, you go back, you go back. How did we get here? Well, you know, I don't know, but this is just one of the guesses that I'm giving in a prose poem that I've written entitled Ethos, where I look at the condition of humanity throughout history to try to make some sense of this mess that we're in. Ethos. Since the African foot hit these shores, it has fought imperial powers. And you know, we've been in a battle ever since to redeem what is truly ours. Stripped of our name, cuisine, worship, and culture, each dark soul has a secret ethos he must keep in his heart for survival, but hide from the vultures. Our status moved from slave to offender. That resonates still in the American agenda in an evasive search for freedom. Reconstruction brought that first sigh of relief. And even when we were threatened and lynched and our hearts were filled heavy with grief, we from the Delta, but he grew up Chi-Town style. When his Uncle Mose asked him to visit down home for just a little while. See, it was late August. Cotton season had begun. Emmett worked the fields with his cousins, and then he took time out to have some fun, and later on he took everybody down to the store for candy, sodas, and bubblegum. Now his mother had warned him about the South. She told him to never look white folks in the eye. She told him to be cool, watch his mouth. Don't go showing off in front of the guys. She told him it ain't like Chicago. No big streets and bright city lights, just dirt roads and fields of cotton. But all of her warnings and alerts were soon forgotten when he whistled at that white woman in the store. Oh, and scared his cousins half to death, because they knew that meant trouble for sure. Well, guess what, about 3 days later, maybe about 2:30 or so a.m., these big burly white men went looking for the boy. Wanted to know who had done all that talking the other day down at Lyons' store. Then it was snatched away into the darkness, about 2 midnight deep. And he wasn't seen anymore until the Tallahatchie River exposed his feet. See, he had to wade down with a cotton thing, barbed wire around his neck. Meanwhile, his mother maybe was totally beside herself, and the entire city of Chicago was angry and upset. Now you know the Mississippi officials had the nerve to make the morticians not to open the crate. So Mamie opened it up herself to examine her son's decomposed state. And through the stench of death, she saw his eye was midway to cheek. Tongue had been choked out. Nose blown open wide. She said he had a hole in his head so big, oh, you could see daylight on the other side. So when the morticians asked Mamie what she would want to have done, she emphatically stated, "No, touch-ups, please, because I want the world to see, Lord, what they did to my son." Well, tell the blacks knew what they had to do. Hide what they think, hide what they know, because the consequences were all too real. You know, the trial was certain to be a life or death show. And in 100-degree heat, Bryant and Billum were acquitted. Then 4 months later, they sold their story to Look magazine and gave every detail on how they did it. Yeah. They were paid $4,000 and knew they could never again be tried. For the murder of Emmett Till in Money, Mississippi of August 1955. Emmett Till. I can see where I'm going to have to, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to wrap it up. I do want to take you to a special place. I'm going to take you to some special places before we wrap it up. Yeah. I'm going to take you to solar solstice. I came across a quote that was written by Victor Hugo, and it stated that 40 is the old age of youth, and 50 is the youth of old age. Isn't that And so I began to think about the seasons of life, and it is the source of inspiration behind this prose that is entitled Soul of Solstice. Let's move through this here. And think about in the autumn of youth, the gift of silence and the power of thought are treasured as the waning days of summer indicate the approach of solstice ahead. The sun sitting heavy upon me, revived fugacious gracious moments of an untroubled heart and a carefree spirit. Now, as the natural world prepares for the future, I reflect upon where I have been and the struggles I have endured. Echoes from the giants of my past surround me with warm memories of wholesome food and endless chatter about the vicissitudes of life. I hunger for their comfort and insight that for so long I desperately tried to escape. And in the autumn of my youth, I'm still holding on to what was, refusing to accept changing times, slowly taking away precious summer evenings of peace and joyful promenades among strangers, longing for when the truth owned itself and was well understood regardless of the turmoil around us. Civil law overruled a larger society that nurtured every member with grounding in the gospel and a pursuit for knowledge. Simple pleasures fueled by simple relations bred rich and lasting bonds of love and reassurance. And I'm still holding on. The emptiness inside me grows as the sun fades and indigo skies dominate the horizon, forcing me to let go of the last gasp of what will never be again. Open now in the youth of autumn, as the petals of my soul succumb to fallen sap. I can grasp what is just beyond my reach, undaunted by populace and censure. I have made peace with what has transpired. I'm thankful for what I have endured and what I have been spared. But it angst and worry beneath the sleepy grass and faded leaves. That first cool dust reminds me of needless pain from a ruthless tongue. Old lemons haunting a new generation and established lies still maintaining its power. The manifestations of evil enhances my capacity to allow suffering to speak, and then enables me to touch another's wound in the name of restoration. And I know the outcomes of the disputes that have a long history, where the dialogue has been spoken many, many times before. And in the autumn, in the youth of my autumn, I have the grace of my elders that confused me as a child. See, I have the privilege to comb silver hair as the road ahead of me grows shorter, but my patience and understanding have increased. As the sun fades yet again, the darkness grows from the east. As the nights grow longer, as my hair has more glisten and glow, as the leaves of the past fall gently upon my feet, I have the grace and love and peace that no mortal can provide. Tender sprouts in the autumn of youth provide a harvest of comfort in the youth of autumn. Soul solstice. Philadelphia story. Lovely baby. And thank you very much. We know about the civil rights movement in the American South, but we don't hear much about north of the mystical line. Now we had some battles here too to make a better day. We had demonstrations and picket signs right here in Philadelphia, PA. So I'm going to take you back to when classifieds were listed by race. You can guess where the good paying jobs were. We were at the bottom of the labor force. want it